But then there comes a point when we're like, I don't want to hold your stuff anymore. I got my own stuff. Here's yours back, and I'm going to look at mine. And it's in those moments when we get to decide, is this relationship going to grow me as a soul? Is this other person willing to take their stuff back? And we have to discern that, right, through the interactions and through looking through the lens of our own wounding. We've all come here with a divine purpose, traveling on a stream of cosmic dust from the stars into our mother's wombs, born into this precious life. It is no accident that you are here, my love, on earth, in this moment, in this body. You are here longing to find your place, to align with your purpose, to embody your passions and to live into the dreams of your heart. Yet so often we get caught, suspended in the tangle of life, not able to move forward, not able to find solace and comfort in a world that has forgotten the truth of our existence. As we begin to remember, as we peel back the layers, as we come together to uncover our unique gifts and reconnect with our authentic selves, we are able to see another way of being, a new possibility, a different life waiting to be lived. I have experienced on this complicated and wild journey of life that when we connect with the story of our soul, it will show us the magic of this life that we have been missing. It will open a window into the very heart of who we truly are, of who we came here to be, and gives us answers to our ever-asking why. Hello, my loves. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here, for being on this intuitive journey. I wanted to share that I have a couple free resources for you. I love creating things that support you to open your intuition and to go deeper with yourself and to learn more. So I have a free guide called Ignite Your Intuition, and it has meditation, it has teachings, it has ceremony, lots of things to spark and activate and ignite your intuition. So there's a link for that in the show notes. Also, if you haven't taken it yet, I do have a quiz. It's called Discover Your Primal Intuitive Power, which is what I like to refer to our main intuitive gift as. It's a primal power. And the quiz will determine for you if you are clear feeling, clear hearing, clear seeing, or clear knowing, which are the four main intuitive pathways that we have to access our intuitive sensitivities. So those are both free for you. There's links in the show notes. I'd love for you to explore and have fun. So for our show today, Dexter is here with us, and he has a couple different questions. He's wondering about his current relationship. He's considering and curious about his new business transition, and also wants to see what's his focus for the next 3 months. And what we find is that things are interwoven. We don't live in a vacuum. And when one thing is happening in one area of our life, we can be almost certain that it is happening in other areas of our life. This is just how we are as human beings. We tend to engage in patterns and different sets of circumstances that show up in multiple places. And when we can see this, and when we can capture the essence of this, we can shift something, we can change something, not just in one place, but in many areas of our life. So it really is beautiful to see how this is woven together. So through this reading, we touch on this idea of how things are connected. We also look at the importance of standing and living in your inner authority. And I love this wording. When I first heard it, my whole body resonated, and it is a word I love to use. It's a way I love to talk about our intuition, about how we are connected to ourselves, our inner wisdom, our inner knowing. And it comes through this place of our inner authority, and it runs through our central channel. And when we live from this place, from this center of our being, everything comes from there, and our life is created through this coherence that lives within us. So very, very significant topic for me. something that I really, really feel is so valid and important for us. We also look at how your business has its own soul. What are ways that you can resource it independently from your own being? You don't want to fuel your business from your heart energy. You want to remember that it has its own soul and learn how to give it what it needs as if it's an individual entity. And we also look at how making choices and finding happiness in how things are today, right now, in this moment in your life, is potent and powerful, rather than this other way of looking at potential in others or potential in situations and then waiting to live until that is reached. There is always this idea of putting something in front of us, right? That we can't have this until that happens. Or once we have enough of fill in the blank, then you can do fill in the blank. And it plays its way into so many nuances in our life. And this other way is in seeing potential in others and situations that is possible. Yes, they can live into it. This situation can move into it. So we stick around for what that potential is, but all the while we're missing the gifts of the moment. So this is a really beautiful reading. I love how Dexter and I just get into these really good conversations and bring together these concepts for you. So thank you for being here. I love you. I cherish you, and enjoy my reading with Dexter. Hi, Dexter. Welcome to the show today. How can I help you?
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for having me. And honestly, my first question today is what's going on with my relationship between Brian and myself?
Hmm. So as I feel into that for you, you're showing me a couple different things. There's a lot of sensation in my feet, as in, are you standing in your own authority in the relationship? Are you really being authentic and true to who you are? And then you're also showing me fireworks coming out of the top of your head. So there's sort of a double feeling of the energy, right? One is like that sort of passion fireworks, but yet it feels like it's laced with unresolved anger, or there's a deeper reason of why there's this more, say, let's like a passionate feeling. It's not pure. I feel this sort of anger laced through it. So as I share that with you, what do you find in that?
So I feel like that definitely resonates. I definitely have mixed emotions about the relationship right now. And yeah, the beat tinkling is definitely the feeling of not feeling grounded, I guess. But there is still a lot of passion and excitement, but is this really the right direction to go into? And do we push past some of the hurdles that we currently have?
Are you asking that as a question?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, no, just well, as souls, right? We come together, we have contracts with each other, and we're given the opportunity in every relationship to grow. And in the beginning of relationships, they can feel so alive and amazing because both people come to the relationship carrying their stuff. And energetically, in the beginning, we hold it for each other. Like we're like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Let me hold your stuff for a while. And we do the return for the other person. Oh, I'll hold yours. And this is unconscious, right? This is happening in our field. And everything feels amazing because we're not feeling our stuff for a little while. And we're caught up in the magic of intimacy and relationship. But then there comes a point when we're like, I don't want to hold your stuff anymore. I got my own stuff. Here's yours back. And I'm going to look at mine. And it's in those moments when we get to decide, is this relationship going to grow me as a soul? Is this other person willing to take their stuff back? And we have to discern that, right, through the interactions and through looking through the lens of our own wounding.
I love that. It definitely resonates. And it really does lead into my next question, which is what are some of the things that I need to know right now about what's going on in my life? Because I think that the other areas of my life, or I know that the other areas of my life are playing a major role into our relationship. So just what do I need to know about what's going on?
Okay. When you say that, are you referring to work? Are you referring to other relationships? Like, what feels most significant for you that is related?
Honestly, work more so. I have my own business and everything. And trying to step away from the 9 to 5 and moving purely into the business. What do I need to know about the business transition?
Mm. So you're showing me your heart, and the information that's coming through is this tendency that we have as entrepreneurs to have these incredible businesses, these inspirations that we're here to bring into the world. But because we're not taught energetically how to differentiate, we tend to take our heart and feed our business with our heart instead of realizing and remembering that our business is its own separate entity and it's going to do what it wants to do. And the way that we support it is we give it its own energetic connection to the planet and to the cosmos. We don't take our heart and try to funnel it through ourselves, right? We have our own connection. But if we look at your business as it has its own soul, its own way that it is intended to live out its existence on earth, you do well to serve that as a soul separate to you. So really allowing it to have separateness from you and stop giving like your heart energy to it. That doesn't mean don't love it and don't nurture it and don't do what your soul is here to do, your passion, but it's this idea of separating yourself from it. What do you see in that for yourself and what you're doing?
Honestly, I love that. I had a conversation with another entrepreneur yesterday and very successful gentleman. And he said something very similar. He's not a spiritual, intuitive individual at all, very business. But he told me that I do need to separate myself and what I would do as a loving, healing person and allow the business to do its thing and beat the business that way. Because the way that I, Dexter, would do something is different than the way that Chakra Wonders, the business, would probably do. So that resonates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What similarities do you see in your relationship and then what you're doing in your business?
So the similarities I see is I really like to tackle things that I find challenging. And my relationship is very challenging in the sense that my partner is a direct reflection of myself and more so the reflection of the person that I was. But because of that, I know that my partner is able to grow into a very whole and loving person. Not saying that Brian's not whole and loving currently, but I see that growth and potential. And I also recognize the fact that I probably shouldn't look at the relationship that way because you should go into the relationship loving everything about that person, which I do. But I see that in my business as well. I see that my business is growing, and while it might not be exactly where I would like it to be, I'm definitely there to help my business grow and help to nurture because eventually it'll be really something that I can grow with and be content with.
Yeah. What I see in your words is what can support you right now, right? An answer to your question is being present to what is here now. And you were alluding to that in what you were saying about your relationship. Like you see the potential of Brian, yet it's super important to be present to who he is now, not what you think will happen. And I see that in the same with your business, where it's important to really be present with what is there now and create this separation. And yes, right, dreams, ideas, goals, all those things are very important as we're creating. Yet, as we were briefly talking about before we started recording, with that idea of allowing life to use us for a bigger purpose than we can see. I feel that in your business too, right? Like, don't get caught up in what the future of your business looks like. Really be present to how are you being used now? How are you being of service? How is this moment the exact moment that is for you?
I like that whole thing. It definitely resonates. Really, just treating the business like a separate entity and also being present and not allowing myself to forecast my thoughts so greatly into the future. And then it's really that just sets you up for disappointment because, when things don't happen the way that we want them to, we think that we're somehow out of alignment, and that's simply not true. Yeah, that definitely leads to, I guess, my last question, which is, so what can I expect, or what does the next 3 months look like?
All right, let me feel into that for you. So, what I see is you moving forward, and then there's this sharp left hand turn. There's a stop sign and a sharp left turn. So, almost confirming, right, what we're talking about of not placing too much weight on the future, because what I'm seeing is something's changing. The path that you're headed on now is being diverted. And this doesn't feel like an, oh my gosh, be careful kind of thing, or it's like, oh, yeah, spirit wants you over there. And it's easeful. Like, it's not, I don't see it as incredibly challenging or something to start to brace against. It's like excitement, like, oh, what is happening? Why do you want me over here? And if I look and I follow that road a little for you, what it opens in, there's this doorway. And it reminds me of doorways that I see when I go on journey, like shamanic journey, and you open a door into another world or into another universe. And it has that energy around it of in there's this quantum is the word of it's like you're coming up on this door and it's not like quantum leap into something totally different. It's almost like a rearranging of the reality that you live in because of a decision that you make. Any ideas what that decision is?
I was actually trying to think about it. I have no idea. As an entrepreneur, I'm constantly making decisions and sitting with people, meeting with different individuals, and having to guide or be guided in many different directions. So I'm not particularly sure. When you brought everything up, though, at the beginning, you said a massive left turn. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I wanted to look into it, and I saw clouds when I closed my eyes. And it looked more like you know how in the sunrise, up in the sunset as well, when the clouds are kind of that pinkish orange, it looked more like that. I was like, okay, so that is a transition and a change. But I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens. Change is fun.
Yeah, another way that I journey is up through the clouds to the upper world as well. So there's a little correlation there in those images. And just that the possibility, right? Like clouds just hanging there, sort of like they just feel like there's a lot of potential and possibility in those images of here you are taking this turn, and then there's this opening and this expansiveness of the view.
Interesting because, as I said before, I have a show as well, and I talk to a lot of other individuals, and I've heard pretty much the same message across the board that there is going to be something that happens and everything opens up, or that there's a massive change. It's very exciting for me, to be honest with you. I just think it's pretty cool. I love change. I love when things are forward moving. Stagnant energy just doesn't feel good in any way.
Yeah, you're bringing me back to where we started with my feet. And the words were about being in your own authority. And so, as you are walking towards this turn, it feels really valuable for you to explore where you might not be in your authority, the places that might still capture you or hook you a little bit. Because as you expand right into more, we also shine the light on the things inside us that are keeping us separate from the truth. And that's opportunity for us to grow and really making those decisions from that place of your truth, not letting any codependency, enabling, any of those patterns that we can fall into where other people are involved, because your life is very involved with other people at the moment. It's really honing that internal compass of who are you, not who other people think you are or interpret you to be, but really who are you, that truth of your heart.
Wow, that's so fascinating. That's actually been the focus of my meditation for the past few weeks is breaking out of the cycle of being codependent. One, recognizing that I was being codependent, and then breaking out of enabling and people pleasing and truly trying to figure out like, who am I? And as you go deeper into meditation, or as one goes deeper into meditation, it's important to focus on who is the I that is meditating, who is the I that is thinking. But before we can even get there, because I think I was kind of jumping the gun, I need to figure out who is the I that's in this physical body, who's walking this lifetime.
Yeah, beautifully said. Yeah, it's a very worthy endeavor.
Yeah, because, it's definitely not for the faint of heart.
I know. And yet, I believe it's something I really passionately believe that it is the key to our freedom.
I have to agree. I have to agree. I think that a lot of times when we seek freedom and when we seek, what is freedom, first of all? But when we seek that, we tend to look very much outside of ourselves and we look at more of how we're trapped, less on how we can become more expansive. But I think freedom, I think about being expansive and I think about feeling whole. But wholeness looks differently to different people. So I don't want to really place labels on what that really is. Wholeness can be love, but is that love truly love for self or love for what you're doing, which is still love for self?
Well, does this feel like an okay place to land today?
Yeah, I really feel great about everything that you said. And I feel that it really resonates. It resonates with everything that's going on in my life. And yeah, I'm just very grateful. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.